Hi, this is Carlos Cousins, and the following literary narrative question is asking about an inference we can draw here about Jane's extended family after reading the whole passage. So, two things here. We have to know specifically where they mention extended family. I've only included the first and the last paragraph here, in that they mention the extended family a lot in this last one. We're talking about her cousin, John, his sister, so more cousins, their mother, so her aunt, who presumably put her in this place, and then the servants, etc., etc. Um, so, you know, later on we talk about Eliza, who was headstrong and selfish, Georgiana, who had a spoiled temper. It looks like both of these are the other cousins, John's sisters. Talk about John, who was never punished, though he twisted the necks of pigeons, killed little pea chicks, etc., etc. So we're talking a lot about her aunt and her kids, cousin John and his family. So we're probably talking about that family and what their station is. Well, if we're looking about the classes then that they might belong to, and she's in this red room, the way that they describe the red room might have a lot to do with it. First of all, the word servants here makes it sound like they have enough money to employ servants. But also this first paragraph here, a couple things. There's massive pillars of mahogany. Mahogany is a type of wood, but even if you didn't know that, there's massive pillars. Uh, Curtains of deep red damask. So it looks like we have these vibrant colors that were probably expensive. And it stood out like a tabernacle in the center. So it has almost this religious atmosphere around it. It's like a very, very fancy, impressive room with two large windows, their blinds always drawn down, shrouded in festoons and falls of similar drapery, so really expensive drapery, expensive colored carpet, etc., etc. Very bright colors. It looks like, more mahogany. There's a lot of really expensive things in this room. It's a very well furnished room. So would they belong to the lower working class if they can afford that to a room that for a room that nobody uses, and for a room that they think nobody should be in except when there's enough visitors? It's a room that isn't even used, even though it's so well furnished. They didn't grab those things to put in other rooms because those rooms are probably very nicely furnished too. They don't need these things. Well, also out of respect for the dead husband, etc., etc., but probably not the lower working class. Middle business class? Potentially, you might have selected this. Nowadays, if you're thinking about, the middle class, we may have really nice things in our homes, but if you're considering them massive, um, these the pillars that are making it, it's like the stateliest chambers in the mansion. We're using really big words, so even though these things now might seem a little bit more commonplace in our society, the words we're using are of something being really beautiful and stately. So probably not just middle class, very likely something higher, like the upper aristocratic class, which is why answer choice C here is the best answer choice. A humble farming community would definitely not be in line with there being servants, and then these people who sort of get away with everything seem to belong to a higher class than maybe even Jane because of their station. So that's why answer choice C here is the best answer choice. I hope that helped with this problem, and happy prepping.